What's going on, guys? My name is Monty, and this is my guest, Ben. Actually, he pretty much helps me co-host this stuff now, so we're gonna talk about some rucking today. How's your
How you
day
guys?
going?
Good, man. Good, man. I'll list here our sponsors and then talk about some of the things we have coming up for January, and then we can get the ball rolling on some rucking. So for this first one, our first sponsor is Banff Hammer, and you can visit them at banffhammer.com or their at on Instagram at Banff Hammer. Our code is Falcon12. That's in all caps with the number 12 at the end for 12% off all Banff Hammer products. Our next sponsor is Your CBD Store in North Hills. You can use code Falcon, that's in all caps, for 10% off and free shipping. You can visit them at yournorthhillscbd.square.site. You can visit them at their on Instagram at Natural North Hills and also at Yogi B. Britt. Our last sponsor is Strike Force Energy. Our code for them is Condition1, that's in all caps, for 10% off all Strike Force Energy products. And then also for this month in January, we're starting something new because it's a new year. We're going to start doing a book of the month. This book of the month is almost kind of like research or wait for us to get involved in some of the military books and things like that that people are putting out. So we wanted to start off with Jack Carr. Now, if nobody knows Jack Carr, look him up. Ex-Navy SEAL, but he's a big book writer. We'll be posting it tomorrow, kind of letting you guys choose which Jack Carr book you want us to read or how you want us to get started on that. So we'll let you guys make that decision. But for now, that's about it, guys. We'll give you some more info as the months go on. But let's get started with this rucking. Yeah.
All right. So the first thing we're gonna go into what exactly is rucking
Mm-hmm.
and exactly and what point in time it started becoming a huge deal. So when was your first ruck?
My first ruck, like even when anybody gets in the military, you think you know, but you don't. The military is my first experience to rucking. I think rucking became a big thing more so in Vietnam. Even in World War II, I know guys were carrying supplies and stuff like that, but not until Vietnam did I really see, Alice packs and things like that being carried. Because those guys they were out in the field for weeks. You're carrying what you got on your back. That's what you got until you get resupplied. But basic was my first exposure to rucking, and the exposure to rucking, like you think you'd be fine. You're like, shit, whatever. I'm just gonna throw some weight on my back. Yeah. I mean, at basic, they start you off at 2 miles with running shoes, and you think like, whatever, it ain't that bad. But putting weight on your back and walking is for some reason something entirely.
Yeah, for exposure for me, the first ruck wasn't at BMT.
Mhm.
It's completely
Oh,
different. Yeah, we
was
don't
it our?
even we don't even ruck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's not for us. We actually rolled around in a chair.
I see where we're getting at.
No, no, no. But I think the closest thing I could say that we did for a ruck was we were. So what we have, I don't know what you guys do. I know that you guys have. Is it you guys do a 12 miler to end Army Basic, right?
The 12 miler, which I kind of speculate about because there was a drill sergeant that had his phone and it said it was 15. So, that's to speculate, but it's supposed to end at 12 miles.
Okay. Well, for us, the closest I could say is that we have there's it's either a week or 2 weeks that we're gone for during basic, and they take us over to a secondary base right outside of Lackland. It's called Medina, which they just switched to the John Chapman Annex. If you
Yeah.
know who John Chapman is,
I've heard the name before, but remind me for me and those people that are.
he's the only he has the only recorded Medal of Honor currently. He was the one that was fighting to save the Navy SEAL's life on top of the mountain.
I watched that video of him. They had it on thermals of him fighting. That was a
Mm-hmm.
badass.
And then we just ended up walking with, like, the duffel bags that they give you at Army Basic.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's what we had,
Oh man.
and it was just filled to the top. So it's
That's
not heavy at all. It's just stupid. And they were like, "All right, now go. We're gonna go march a mile and a half or a mile." And we marched with that on our back. And one of the female flights that was with us, she like passed out within like 2 hours, like within like not even 200 yards that we started walking.
yeah, for I mean if you haven't done it, I mean now with social media and everything, there's actually I think it's called like Go Rucking where people have
Yeah.
backpacks to put in the rucks. And I mean if you guys haven't tried it, it's definitely worth a shot. It's something to add out. I mean if you're running all the time and you want to change it up, definitely do some rucking. That's something else to throw in. Also, to go a little off subject with John Chapman here, if you guys haven't heard of John Chapman, if you want to talk about going out like a man and like a warrior, that guy was the definition of it. Going, fighting hand to hand, and then going out to the last breath there. That's definitely a guy to look up on the internet. His Medal of Honor, they actually have it recorded on thermals on the internet, and you can watch that. But back to what we were on before.
Okay. Like I said, a brief history of military backpack and rucksacks. And this is a blog post by fieldtexcases.com.
Mm-hmm.
On here, it kind of goes into a little bit of where it initially started. So it's saying, uh, before Americans coined the term backpack in the early 1900s, initially used by hunters to carry their gear or gatherers to carry their harvest, backpacks have always been an integral tool to humans. And the military backpacks began appearing in the U.S. in the mid 1800s, and from that began the integration of military grade textiles and tactical backpack development. So then it will go into how it was used in the Civil War to aid infantrymen in the transportation of bulky weaponry and medical supplies. While they were effective, many soldiers often opted to roll their objects in a blanket that they threw over their shoulder, as it was far softer on their upper body than the backpacks were. So I'm guessing like those little like stick backpacks, like with the little uh, end tied off,
Yeah,
those.
I guess we really got nothing to bitch about because even in the Battle of Gettysburg, the unit from Alabama for the Confederates, they marched 80 miles to get to that battle. So I'm guessing that they had a few of those on their back for 80 miles.
Well,
So and then they got wool uniforms. Like I don't know, dude. They barely ate. Like that makes I guess that makes us look like.
oh yeah, well, like you can't even fight about it. Like the brand new rucks, like even with what we have now, like I complained about having the Alice frame, and now we got these plastic frames on them, which is like super comfortable. I think rather than having
Mhm.
the old Alice frame out of metal, that shit would dig so deep far in your back. You just take that thing off after like 10 miles, and there'd be just
Yeah.
welts all over the back.
Yep. Is the do you guys use the Molly too like we do? Is it like a 3-day pack or something?
I think so. Yeah, because I can't fit jack shit in this thing, but I mean it can fill up to 50 pounds. But
You said it's a mystery ranch.
yeah, it's a mystery ranch ruck. I'll grab it real fast.
There it seems like they got more funding than we do. But
It's very possible.
yeah, because the mystery ranch in Eberly stock when it comes to rucks outside of the military, even for hunting and camping and everything like that, the mystery ranch and Eberly stock are kind of top of the line. My off-brand one that I use is Eberly stock. I think it's the Eberly stock Terminator that I use for off brand and it's multicam, so I'm able to use it. The only thing I can't use it in is the schools because the schools designate the Molly 2 rucks that we have to use. But for you guys to be able to use the Mystery Ranch, that's pretty awesome. But I think also we could talk about in rucking is probably the timing or how you can get your pace down. The pace is, at least for me, um, it's very, very good to have your phone, even when you're in training, or even an old fashioned stopwatch on your wrist, like a wristwatch, to get your timing, because that's going to be very detrimental to keeping your time. I mean, if there's times you need to slow up, because I mean these roads that we're not rucking on for schools and stuff, they ain't on the prairie, they ain't straight. They're uphills or downhills, so you're going to lose time here and there. So you really need to keep your pace. there are times, especially on 12 milers, that I'm jogging. You're literally jogging with that ruck on your back to make time or to get ahead of time because you know you're going to be cut down once you get to the end of the 12 miler, the last like 4 miles. So at the beginning, I may be running a like a 12 or 13-minute pace, but at the end of it, I may be up to 16, but I ran fast in the beginning. So now I'm kind of caught up on time and I have a little bit of extra time if you want to use every little bit. I think the time constraint, if I remember right, is 3 hours for 12 miles, if I remember right.
Yeah, you're correct on that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for me the same. I when I used to ruck, and I didn't know better, and I thought I could probably just Terminator every single ruck possible and not get tired. So
Yeah.
I'd start with like a 4 miler,
Mm-hmm.
and then once it got bumped up to 6, and then I realized my times actually got slower because I was trying to still Terminator that thing. Because four
Yeah.
mile, I was able to jog almost all of it. I would hit 3 mile, and then I would probably have to decently like shuffle walk that whole last mile. Now when it came to
Yeah.
6, it was like mile 3 I was tired, and then I was walking way too much. So that wasn't
Yeah.
doing I wasn't doing the interval work like I should have. And then when
Yeah.
I started getting to 8 miles, it got much worse. And then finally I picked up that I should be running, shuffle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the SF dudes, if I remember. So I mean, it's not even the SF dudes. It's the everybody's got a pace. Like you could jog for a minute, walk for a minute, jog for a minute, walk for a minute, or 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Whatever you got to do to keep that pace, because your walking pace is not always going to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar pace, where your stride is 6 of my steps. So you're going to slow up at some point. So you either got to time it. It's got to be a minute on, a minute off, 2 minutes on, 3 minutes walk. Whatever you got to do to keep that time. But because even when I went to air assault school and even ranger school tryouts, especially actually it was when I was in air assault school, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna complete it. When we got up in the morning, it was, I mean, this was the time I was at Camp Edwards, Boston, Massachusetts. I ended up graduating on September 11th, which was pretty awesome. But when we were there, it happened to be like the most humid time in Boston, Massachusetts history. It was close to 100 degrees with 100% humidity. And I woke up and my buddy was there. He was from my unit. And we were like, you got to be shitting me. So you want to talk about people cramping on the side of the road? Everybody in Timbuktu was cramping on the side of the road. You were just praying that these cramps would hold off